Welcome everybody. Welcome to the launching event of the GTI Islands Awards 2021. This is the 7th edition of the awards, and the final ceremony will be celebrated on the 21st of October in the framework of the GTI Convention, which will take place digitally from the 19th to the 21st of October 2021. As the awards is a part of the program of Greedy Islands, of supporting the islands to become greener, to accelerate the transition to sustainability, to be zero emission with the latest technology is possible. With different tools that you see in this chart, but the awards is has really the aim to create, disseminate best practice, disseminate projects on the different areas, from energy, from water, from mobility, from waste, from agriculture, from sustainable tourism. And this year we added another very important award that was requested by the jury on governance and inclusion. Of course, as I mentioned of the observatory, the index, as it is part of the awards, in the sense that there will be one of the benefits for the winners of the award. We will apply the index, the Greedy Islands Observatory Global Index is a tool to assess the islands on different sectors, to understand, to give a score, considering not only CO2 reduction on the different sectors, but also project in the pipelines and project on already done, built. The index is evolving, and of course in the future we will add anyway what we consider at the moment embedded under the category environment, but we will, as we did also for the awards, we will explicit specific also scores for agriculture, for sustainable tourism, and for governance and inclusion. At the moment, this topic is embedded in the environment category. The awards has started and is linked with the Greedy Islands Convention that now take place from many years. Started in Pantelleria in 2014. I know there are people here that has been attending since our event, annual event, since the first year, and has been since 2014. Our event has been hosted by every year from a different island. Apart one event we did in Brussels, but from last year we did start the e-convention, which is digital. We strongly believe that digital event can, even beyond pandemic, manage to attract, to involve really islands from all over the world. We have more than 500,000 islands in the world, and the use of digitalization for sure allow all islands to learn, to networking, to know, and to discuss. And our convention now is also including a networking session and also an exhibition. Last year was very successful, more than 700 attendees, 90 international speakers, and 15 technical workshops in 4 days. This year will be concentrated on 3 days, but will be very, very intense, where we'll bring, of course, the results of the observatory. But again, on the last day, there will be the ceremony for the winner. I have to say that the awards has started 1 year after the convention in 2015. The first edition started in our Greedy Islands International Conference in Malta, and islands from every continent have participated You see some names here, but of course, there are islands from all over the world. We strongly believe that dissemination really can support the acceleration for the transition. We have a very qualified jury that really we thanks really a lot, because they do it with passion. I'm going to present the jury before the panel discussion. You see here the names, but I prefer to mention one by one later on before to start the panel discussion. Thank you very much. And now I will leave the floor to the project Islands presentations. After the island presentations are 6 projects, 10 minutes each. We'll have the presentation of the new regulation of the 2021 awards. There will be the announcement of our agreement with green destinations that will give value to the winners and also to the participants to the awards, also not winners. And then there will be the panel discussion with a very important representation of the jury. Thank you very much. And Angelo, the floor is yours with the project.
Thank you, Gianni. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm very happy to present some of the projects, some of the past winners of the award. Very interesting project. We will start with the project in Seychelles, the winner of GTI Award 2020 on energy, with the Seychelles Solar School project. You see the video first?
This short video is made for the Solar School project from the Seychelles Islands, which has been proclaimed as the winner of Greening the Islands Award 2020 under the energy category.
In Seychelles, we depend a lot on fossil fuel to provide us with energy. But as a small island developing state, it is a must for us to use renewable energy, such as solar panels, as it will surely help us to be more sustainable.
The Minister for Agriculture, Climate Change and Environment, Mr. Flavio Zuber, said that this project is one of the key projects that help us to move forward. As Seychelles, being a small island developing states, rely on imported fossil fuel.
Solar power is 100% clean, renewable energy source which is fossil. Another great benefit is that it helps to reduce our school electricity bill. As we live in a tropical country, solar energy is continuously available to us. So why not use this natural source of power to reduce our expenses?
The main concept of this project was to undertake the installation of rooftop PV systems on all the public schools in the 3 main islands, Mahé, Pala, and Ladi.
Today, solar panel installations in schools in Seychelles are becoming more popular as it offers a dependable source of unlimited energy. With the fact that our country is a tropical country, using solar energy is a big advantage as long as there is sunshine.
The minister also mentioned that Seychelles has been putting a lot of effort to increase the amount of renewable energy in the local energy mix and pushing for integration of photovoltaics in the commercial, residential, and public sector.
As a small island nation, using solar power is a great way to reduce our carbon footprint.
If we rely on solar power, it means our emissions are reduced from burning fossil fuel.
The CEO of the Seychelles Energy Commission, Mr. Tony Imadwa, mentioned that the Solar School project idea basically came through one of the rooftop PV projects initiated back in 2014. The project was looking at accelerating distributed rooftop grid-connected PV systems, and Seychelles Energy Commission thought that it would be good to have the schools involved in this whole project.
We are really proud that our school have solar panels and hope that the whole of Seychelles will take the opportunity offered to take a step forward and install solar panels on their homes for a more sustainable Seychelles.
One main target of this project was public outreach through the teachers and the children to create more awareness on PV technology.
The benefit of solar panel is that there's less noise. It is used when the sun is low. Solar energy supports climate change mitigation. The use of solar energy at our school is clearly a way to diminish our dependency to fossil fuels. Solar energy is a clean renewable source that can be used in place of fossil fuels. And it also decreases harmful emissions into the atmosphere. The existence of solar panels in our school for a few years now has brought about a remarkable decrease in our electricity bills.
Meanwhile, we also take this opportunity to thank all our stakeholders who have been supporting us throughout the implementation of the project, and we look forward to get all our schools to become solar schools.
I have to say, it's always nice to see this video, and these kids have a bright future, and it's very good to see the combination with education and sustainability. I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Tony Imadua, the CEO of the Seychelles Energy Commission, and Cynthia Alexander, the Principal Officer for Renewable Energy and Energy Management for the Seychelles Energy Commission. Welcome.
Thank you, Angelo. Unfortunately, it seems there is some technical difficulties for our CEO to join. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all of you are doing great and keeping safe during these hard times. It's really an honor, and we are very happy to receive the award on behalf of Seychelles and under the energy category. And as you have seen from the presentation, we have mentioned how it all started and how we made use of the public schools to get into an outreach program so that we can create awareness on solar PV systems for the public and also the students, so we can go towards a sustainable future. Seychelles also have an energy policy with a target to achieve 5% renewable energy by 2020 and 15% renewable energy by 2030. So this kind of initiative also added to us to reach our targets. Even though there has been some limitations from COVID and other things, we are still progressing, which is a good news. I will just share my screen to present the project and the future plans of Seychelles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you can see, the Seychelles Solar School project, we already had 6 schools that has already been installed the solar PV systems from different kinds of grants from UNDP GEF projects, Environmental Trust Fund, and other sponsors. Also, we have commercial sector which have used their CSR donations for similar projects. And now with this, we have tried to move to further greening the other schools in the Seychelles, and we have been working on a bilateral cooperation with the government of China, where we wanted to implement lots of solar PV systems on the school for the same objective. And very recently in April, we just had our first meeting with the Chinese representatives who have won the project, who have won the project's tender in China, to do a site visit at all our schools, and 16 schools have already been identified and categorized to have solar carports, which will be connected to the grid. As you know, integrated distributing solar PV systems has its unique benefits and challenges compared to a utility scale system, especially for a grid from an island where it has not been upgraded to the level of to address intermittency of renewable energy sources. We have been working on slowly progressing towards that, and to address all these voltage fluctuations, we have decided to go on with these 16 schools for a total of 205 kilowatt capacity. So in general, these solar carports will stand in front of the schools so that both the public and the students, any bypasser, everybody will have a chance to have access to the system, to look at it, to see how much energy is being produced, to have all the access so that they know how a PV system could benefit not just the school, but also the whole economy, environment, and social aspects of the country. And also, this project will not stop here. We are planning to replicate it in other schools that has not yet been categorized or come under our first selection criteria. Maybe it would be a rooftop PV system or a similar carport, which we will go into the future. And overall objective of the solar school project is to go towards a greener future, to keep Seychelles green as it is now, and have a sustainable solution for the schools as well, along with the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you very much. Very nice to see all this progress and also your targets for the future. We will leave some space at the end for some additional questions from the crowd as well, from the jury. So I will move to the next winner, the agriculture section. So the winner of the award 2020, Barbados, with Mr. Ralph Birkhoff, founder of Alchemy Renewables, an island grower, Barbados, and Mr. Tony Rollins, food crop research from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Give some few words to Ralph Birkhoff first.
Yes, thank you, Angelo, and good day all, and good morning from the beautiful island of Tobago. My name is Ralph Birkhoff, and on behalf of Island Growers Caribbean, we'd like to thank the GTI Observatory for inviting us back to help launch the 2021 GTI Awards program. Since awarded Best Agriculture Project for 2020, we have continued to be very busy, and we're here today to show you the progress on our Barbados Climate Smart Greenhouse Farm project. And while the pandemic certainly caused a number of challenges in terms of shipping and construction delays, we managed to work through them all successfully. We even had a volcanic eruption on nearby St. Vincent that caused an ash storm in Barbados during our construction. We wish all of the 2021 GTI Award entrants success this year. While winning this award does not provide any direct financial benefit, we can attest to the fact that this recognition is very much appreciated, and as an entrepreneurial company, it does provide significant motivation. When you work tirelessly for many months building an idea and an international panel of experts one day recognizes your achievements, it's incredibly inspiring and helps you drive you onwards. Today, we're going to show you a brief video of our Barbados project and introduce our Director of Horticulture, Mr. Joseph Chidiak, better known as JC. This 5,000 square foot greenhouse was erected in just 80 hours with a crew of 5. Please enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. We can start the video now.
Yes, please.
Plant your food. Plant to seed.
At Island Growers, we designed our farm to break the cycle and shatter the status quo. We don't want to see any more greenhouse farms blow away in hurricanes or struggle to survive or shut down due to the high cost of water and power. We want these systems to be designed intentionally for where they're producing food, for the fact that markets can change and crops may have to suit. Come on in. This is our sprung, Category 5 hurricane-resistant greenhouse structure that we have customized to be the region's first climate-smart greenhouse farm. It's naturally aspirated using these side vents that are heavily screened against pests, and the roof turbines that remove hot air from here very rapidly and actively. What we're doing here now is preparing the space for our efficient, safe hydroponic system, which is going to produce a wide variety of crops with very low inputs. We want everything to be perfectly ergonomic. We want to make sure that it's a positive experience for the user and the farmer, and that they expand constantly because of the merit of their crop production and because they love what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Cultivate a seed and you cultivate your health. Cultivate communities and you cultivate yourself.
So we want to change the whole paradigm here in controlled environment farming in the Caribbean, and we got to do that with a smart, climate-sensible approach so that we are not using any resources that don't need to be used in the pursuit of our food production, and so that we're actually making a positive difference here, minimizing our ecological impacts, maximizing our job production, and showing people that farming can be fun, technological, white-collar job.
Great project, great solution that goes toward self-sufficiency of the island, and including also a lot of local workers. So congratulations for this project. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Tony Rollins, Food Crop Research, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security of Barbados. Welcome, Tony.
Here I am. Hello, good morning to everyone. Hi. My name is Tony Rollins, and I am an agricultural officer at the Ministry of Agriculture. And at present, I am the ministry's focal person for an FAO project that is entitled Innovative Protected Cultivation Systems in the Caribbean. And through this project, I'm going to be working with Mr. Berkoff, because the project is all about using innovative technology for the production of greenhouse crops. And Ralph and I initially, we have met initially through virtually, that is, for the launch of that particular project. And we're looking to move forward with that project shortly. To be honest, the ministry hasn't been able to actually evaluate Mr. Berkoff's greenhouse. As you saw just now, it's not actually up and running as yet. But as soon as it's up and running, we should be able to collaborate with Mr. Berkoff then to determine how it could best contribute to reducing our high food import bill and stuff like that. We know there are various technologies, and we're trying to incorporate them and to encourage as much farmers on the island to get involved in greenhouse production. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rollins. If you want to spend a few words to say, what is your, if you have any target over the next years in terms of sustainable agriculture?
Right now, I wouldn't want to speak on that because we still have to work out those targets and what we want to achieve.
Perfect. Thank you. So
thank you.
I will leave the I think we have Mr. Tony Imadua, the CEO of Seychelles Energy Commission, and managed to connect. I'm not sure, I don't see yet. Oh, okay, we'll introduce him in the next session. All right, so now we have the winner, GTI winner 2020 for water. The project is called Macaronesia, adaptation to climate change through the efficient use of water and its reuse. 3 islands are part of this project, which is Canary Island, Cape Verde, and Madeira. And please, can we show the video? Thank you.
Proyecto Adaptar es un proyecto de cooperación transnacional entre Canarias, Madeira y Cabo Verde, cofinanciado por el programa Interreg MAC de la Unión Europea, que fomenta la cooperación entre los archipiélagos de la Macaronesia y su entorno africano más inmediato para resolver problemas comunes. En el caso del proyecto Adaptar, nuestro foco está en la adaptación al cambio climático a través de la reutilización de las aguas depuradas y el uso eficiente del agua.
La Universidad de Las Palmas de Gran Canaria se encarga del objetivo de investigación que está asociado en el proyecto y con este objetivo hemos montado en Cabo Verde, en la isla de Santiago, 2 parcelas demostrativas. Una en el municipio de Santa Cruz, vinculada a la ETAR de Santa Cruz, y otra vinculada a la ETAR de Santa Catarina. En esta parcela el objetivo es producir la mayor cantidad de comida con la menor cantidad de agua posible.
INIDA participa junto com as delegações nesse trabalho de pesquisa, que aqui o que não tem como objetivo é tentar de ver como os sistemas de rega se comportam perante a utilização das águas residuais e como a utilização das águas residuais é de importância na sustentabilidade da agricultura, tendo em conta a escassez hídrica do arquipélago e a utilização de um recurso que temos na mão.
En esta parcela lo que tenemos es un diseño experimental para poder tomar datos científicos. O sea, tenemos una metodología que nos permite tomar repeticiones, una metodología que nos proporciona datos que puedan tener luego una validez significativa, una validez estadística. Después de llevar 2 años y medio con esta parcela, esta es la 3ª cosecha, estamos viendo que el suelo no solo no se degrada, sino que está mejorando sus propiedades.
I forgot to mention, and the video was in original language, so it was Spanish and Portuguese. As a very nice project that tried to study the efficient use of water and the efficient use of recycled water. So I leave the floor to Ms. Maria del Pino Palacios Diaz, which is the responsible of the University of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. Objetivo 3, adaptarse. Welcome, Maria.
Hello. Now I have problems because I am not able
To share.
to share my, no, not here. Here it is. Okay. And you see?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Good evening. It's an honor to be here to tell you about our experience on how the efficient use of water and its reuse is a tool to achieve the necessary adaptation to climate change in Macaronesia. Adaptares is an European cooperation project of the Macaronesian region which address a complex problem, adaptation to climate change in a region with shortage of water. Here you can see the Macaronesian region and our partners from Madeira, Canary Islands, and Cape Verde. This afternoon I'm going to talk about Cape Verde update and the progress and the activities carried out for their dissemination. But first, let me emphasize that depending on the growth considered, the interests are different, and the reuse projects will be successful only if we are aware that all groups must achieve their goals. Legislators frequently forget with their laws to guarantee the fertility of farmer soils and their irrigation facility. treatment plant operators tend to prefer more technologically developed systems, often more predictable, even if increasing the cost of produced water until a level unaffordable by farmers. Farmers forget to modify their conventional practice to adapt them to the new use of this new resource, and consumers are often susceptible to biased information, full of cliches, and forget these sentences. If treated water is not reused, it's discharged, which has a worse impact on the environment. So we designed the reuse system integrated all aspects related to agro-climatic conditions, water quality, irrigation practices, soils, and crops. This adapted design guarantees the solution replicability. We choose two plots with different agro-environmental characteristics on the coast and inland, and close to two typical wastewater treatment plants of rural areas, not very technical, and that produce different water qualities. The idea is to irrigate, obtaining the maximum protection on the population, minimizing the need to modify the quality of water produced by the wastewater treatment plants. In Santa Cruz, the effects of water quality and irrigation system are studied, comparing treated water with well water and subsurface drip irrigation with surface drip irrigation. And as I do not want to bore you with technical data, I'm going to describe what we have learned. With the proposed irrigation management, leachates are avoided, which guarantees the protection of the aquifer. The project improves soil fertility in almost all parameters, with the exception of the increasing salinity, which will determine the irrigation management recommendation. A sample image is better than all the graphs that the research like to make. The mean cumulative production of the three treatments is shown here. The highest production of subsurface drip irrigation is observed. In addition, the possibility of replacing conventional water with reclaimed water is demonstrated, since the same production is obtained as with conventional water. Therefore, and after 9 harvests, we have replaced sorghum with a papaya plantation. In Santa Catarina, we studied the effect of water optimization and pest control in 2020. And smart agricultural practices in 2021. We need an additional filtering system. We hired an international consultant that helped us design an integrated pest management plan. Observe the higher corn quality obtained in 2020. We also measure greenhouse gas emissions, which depends on soil parameters, but also on water quality and quantity. The advantage of pilot projects is that incidents occur that warn us of what happens on farmer plots and can compromise the profitability. The farmer visited the fields and could see on his own eyes what happens with the project. Now, a new pump system is in construction to provide this water to them. In addition, the groundwater in both areas have been characterized, including the determination of emerging contaminants, which are found in a very low concentration, both in water and especially in the plant, which are practically unquantifiable. As a summary, we have characterized the environment, climate, water, soil, aquifer. We have established the design and management practices of the irrigation system, reusing treated water and adapted to local conditions, allowing a high productive capacity and low consumption water coefficient for the two plots. We have also calculated the nutrient supply balance and determined the low risk of affecting the underlying aquifer. And this is only possible thanks to the work of a large interdisciplinary group in which local partners have been involved. But in addition to progressing in our technical scientific knowledge, we have improved in our learning on how to work with groups of people who have different objectives, forcing us to make scientific technical questions in simple words and to agree on the programming activities. In addition, we have learned to love Cape Verde, its landscape, its culture, and its people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. It's very nice to see these projects, and I hope to see it replicated in many, many, many islands. Now it's time for the winner of the GTI Award 2020 on Sustainable Tourism for the island of Sint Maarten. And this, we can share the video. Thank you. We can't hear the audio.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, yes, now we should go back.
And Wind Charters. We are the support vessel for IntelliReef and for the Nature Foundation. IntelliReefs are great because you can place these where you want them, and they're growing corals so much faster than whatever else is in the sea. So a boat sinks and 20 years later it's full of coral. You put this stuff down a year and a half later and it's got life. It's got fish and coral. It's incredible. We're super excited about it, and we hope our government steps up and gets a whole lot of it. If we don't take the conservation and the building up of our reefs, if we don't take part in that, we will have nothing to show our tourists. It'll be gone. The fish won't come, the corals won't grow. It's so important. It's important that we're all a part of the conservation and the bringing back of the sea life.
Great project. And the title of the project is Reef Rehabilitation Following Hurricane Irma, using biomimicking nanotechnology artificial reefs. I'm pleased to welcome Melody Brenna, Executive Director of Reef Life Foundation, and Emily Higgins, the Director of Ocean Science at Reef Life Foundation. Welcome.
Hello. First and foremost, we would love to extend our gratitude and thanks to the Greening of the Islands 2020 jury. We've gotten to know all of you and Kate Brown, and what an extraordinary group of people working globally to make sure that islands survive. Our conservation partners are Reef Life Foundation and the Nature Foundation of Sint Maarten, who couldn't be here today because all of them are in scuba gear, and they are doing a shark monitoring project as well as a reef monitoring project. We're so grateful to be a part of this global community of innovators who are dedicated to restoring, remediating, and protecting island nations. IntelliReefs designs and constructs innovative nanotechnology coral reefs. These are habitats that we created the science for, and the habitats mimic the complex mineral composition of natural ecosystems. We deploy IntelliReefs in communities all over the globe that rely on thriving ocean ecosystems for food, economic security, coastal protection. IntelliReefs are innovative reef restoration systems that use breakthrough in nanotechnology to mimic established coral reefs to build an oceanic infrastructure that improves water quality and builds resistance to climate stressors and different diseases. Emily?
So as a global resource, coral reefs are worth about $375 billion annually in terms of food, coastal protection, and ecotourism. They're vitally important to the economy of Sint Maarten. People from around the world flock to Sint Maarten to dive and snorkel and spend time on their beautiful reefs. And it is absolutely essential that they remain healthy and vibrant to continue reinforcing the island's economic security and sustainability moving forward. So we deployed our IntelliReefs in Philipsburg, Sint Maarten back in 2018 in response to widespread and devastating damage done by Hurricane Irma in September of 2017. And these structures were engineered to mimic established coral reefs and build an oceanic infrastructure that rebuilds corals that were lost during the storm and rebuilds habitat for fish and other commercially important species, as well as provide beautiful and vibrant dive sites for people to visit. So in January 2020, our scientists returned to Sint Maarten and found that our entellereefs, as you see here, actually increased biodiversity relative to the natural reefs. They fed fish every 15 seconds, which is about 4 times higher than other habitat building substrates out there. And they provided much needed habitat for food, so fish, or for fish. So they were living directly inside of the structure. They were guarding the structure from our divers, and even kind of getting territorial and attacking our divers when they got too close to them. And then again, this year in 2021, we have a bit of an update. So we actually had our partner, the Nature Foundation, return to the reefs a few weeks ago. And we found a 400% increase in coral cover from last year to this year. So not only were we blown away with our initial results in 2020 when we first visited the structures after their first year underwater, but during the pandemic, they've really been doing a lot of growing. So we were thrilled to see that increase. And we were thrilled to hear that people are enjoying diving on them and they are really performing as expected, cleaning water in the area, increasing fish and coral. And so our plan moving forward, I'll just go to that next one for now. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, we're getting ready to return back to Sint Maarten and do a second round of really important field work. When we got these pictures a couple of weeks ago, and this lettuce coral, which we had not seen last year, was as big as my forehand, we really realized that we've got to get a scientific crew there. And of course, we welcome all of you to come to Sint Maarten and dive with us this summer. Stay posted. We want to figure out ways to be a storyteller to generate lots of media attention for Sint Maarten and these islands that we're working on now that are getting ready to burst into life with entellereefs planted around the island, either as a protection device or within their reefs, so that we can help foster new coral recruits a natural way. We're kind of just helping Mother Nature heal herself. And around the world, we've lost about 50% of our coral reef ecosystems since the 1980s. Pollution, climate change, and the destruction of habitat. And in entellereefs, we're working with local communities to bring as much of the reef back as possible through our innovative, data-driven solutions. And we strive to cultivate trust in these communities and collaborate with the different people on the ground and bring the science there so everyone is integrated. And we're trying to inspire collaborative ocean-forward partnerships all over the island communities with our research projects.
We're also heavily committed to local ecological education. And really our aim is to demonstrate our respect for the environment by ensuring that our actions preserve the integrity of the ecosystem for everybody to enjoy moving forward, and the biological complexity that's needed for the reefs to support not only tourism, but also sustainable food and resources for island nations. And we believe that the interdisciplinary approach that we've taken to our conservation projects with the local Sint Maarten monitoring team and government really does ensure the next generation of coral reef guardians. So that's our aim, is to foster that as a value coming up through the next generation. And so
we would love to thank you and figure out different ways you can get involved with us. We invite you to contact us. You can donate to Phase 3 in Sint Maarten and come down and actually look at it. This reef ship that you see on the lower left is 48 by 48 by 6 feet tall, and it becomes a natural part of the reef system. And the blue barriers that you see are part of a wave break system we built for coastal protection that also goes into a coral reef and fish spawn and other types of initiatives with a whole new type of species in a protection device.
So we really do believe that the future of marine conservation is everybody's business. Every second breath we take on this earth is generated by the ocean. Recent estimates actually have it up to 70% of our oxygen generated by the ocean on this earth. And without it, without a healthy functioning ocean, we really can't stay on this planet. So that is our mission and that is our goal. We invite you to join us in that. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for this great solution, which really touch so many different aspects, you know, from environment, the health, the food, the tourism. So congratulations again. I have one question for you about in which area is your product more adequate, or can it be adapted to any area?
Emily?
Yeah, that's actually the beauty of what we do. So we design a specific stone habitat down to the nano scale for each region, and that can actually be tweaked slightly for site and for species in order to make sure that we're really hitting our cultural and biological goals. So it is amorphous substrate that can actually be formed into anything. So if you want, you know, a Roman Colosseum, for example, made out of it, we can do that. But it also functions down to a very small scale to make sure that it's providing the right minerals and providing the right attraction cues to get the desired animals to feel really at home.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I want to say that for the attendance, please, you can post your questions and we will select some of the questions at the end of this session. In the meantime, I want to invite now Tony Imadua, which is solve his technical problems. So the CEO of Seychelles Energy Commission. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Angelo. How are you? Thank you very much for inviting me.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Angelo introduced, my name is Tony Madua, CEO of the Energy Commission. And I'm sure you would have enjoyed the presentation earlier by Cynthia. I would firstly like to thank GTI for awarding us the award for the energy category back in 2020. I would like to say the island nation, I mean, like Seychelles, faces a lot of challenges with regards to energy. And as an island, we need to look at ways of how to address these energy challenges. And I believe island present excellent test bed, put it that way, for innovative project. And like I've seen from the presentation from the other colleagues, we are looking at interesting innovation, which particularly address the challenges that island state face. And I believe some of these technologies are not well known, or we don't get to hear about it. But it's thanks to initiative like the GTI, not only, you know, creating a platform for this project to, you know, to be seen, but also provide an opportunity for these companies, these startups, you know, to really upscale, you know, to grow, you know, providing, spreading their solution to other places around the world. And I think that's an excellent opportunity. And I would like to say for the applicants for this year award, you know, GTI, you know, initiative will provide you this opportunity. And from our side, it's been an excellent journey, and we've been discussing with Angelo, and we look forward to, you know, working together and see how the initiative can really help, you know, our island. And I would just like to say that you know, it's not easy, but definitely we need partners, and in GTI, we have a partner that we can count on. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentation. So thank you again, GTI, and thank you for the opportunity. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. Very appreciate it. And looking forward next step with the collaboration with Seychelles Island. Now it's time to introduce the winner, GTI Awards 2020 for Sustainable Mobility, the Civitas Destination Project, with this, which includes 6 European islands: Madeira, Gran Canaria, Malta, Elba, Crete, and Cyprus.
Civitas Destinations is a 4-year innovative actions project co-funded by the EU's Horizon 2020 programme. Its main aim is the integration of sustainable tourism and mobility strategies through the development of a series of innovative solutions in 6 European islands: Funchal in Madeira, Limassol in Cyprus, Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, Rethymno in Crete, the municipalities of Portoferraio and Rio in Elba, and the region of Valletta in Malta. 28 partners from 9 EU member states, with the strong support of their local politicians, have worked together for more than 4 years, designing, developing, implementing, and operating 79 measures and actions aimed at reducing the pressures on the transport systems of the 6 islands due to the significant seasonal flow of tourists each year. These actions and measures have helped develop sustainable urban mobility and logistic plans, create attractive and accessible public spaces, promote behavioral change towards shared mobility and electromobility, manage mobility demand and awareness campaigns, and promote attractive, efficient, and accessible public transport. In summary, the destination's main objectives are to improve urban accessibility, to reduce energy consumption, emissions, and improve air quality, to boost local economic development, to change the behavior of citizens and tourists towards more efficient and sustainable modes of transport, and to integrate public transport and mobility services in daily life. The project's innovative features include the development of business models to guarantee lasting impact of the measures, the implementation of information and communication technologies as an effective tool to implement innovative transport and mobility measures. The innovative solutions developed and the pilot activities implemented allowed the unlocking of significant additional funding from the private sector or from public funds, such as the ERDF, boosting the results of the project.
Right. I would like to invite Ms. Isabel Rodriguez, which is the Regional Director for the Economy of and Land Transport Autonomous Regional Government of Madeira. Welcome, Isabel.
Hi, hello. I would like to greet you and say that is the honor of all of us to have received this award. I would like to mention that there is a strong commitment, not only from Madeira, as well from the various partners of the Civitas Destination project to bet more and more on sustainable mobility associated with tourism, being this project a good example of this. The attribution of these prizes is an acknowledgement for all the work developed and a stimulus for us to continue to do more and better. The realization of these projects allows the sharing of knowledge as well as the sharing of good practices, which is extremely positive and a necessary path for the regions to develop and invest in more efficient and sustainable ways of managing their territory. Finally, I would like to mention that we will always be available to participate in projects of this nature. Claudio.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. And now I introduce Claudio Montero, which is the project coordinator of this Civitas project 2020 destinations.
Hello, Angelo. Hello to everyone. So briefly, I will try to guide you inside this complex project, which is Civitas Destinations, okay? So let me share with you my screen. I hope you can see my presentation.
Yes, we see it.
So here, briefly, the structure of the project. So the project has 6 action fields, quite clear that all are interacted between them. So mobility planning, shared mobility service, mobility demand management, public transport, urban freight, and public spaces. So these 6 big areas interact together in the framework, clear framework at EU level, which is the SAMP, so the Sustainable Urban Mobility and Logistic Plans. So together with this, there are, as you see also in the presentation, a strong commitment of companies and financial structures to support the implementation of complex measures in sustainable mobility. On the right of the scheme, you can see one of the big challenge of our project. So a constant evaluation of the results and the impact achieved. Each of the 79 that at the end results in 83 measures, has his own measure evaluation reports that compare the situation before, during, and after. And in this way, we can easily share results and make something very important also for civil servants, which is evaluate the impact of public choice, public measures. But moving forward. So here are some of the main impact we achieved during the project. I divide in different colors. So we have economy impact, energy impact, environmental impact, transport system impact, and society impact. So one I put at the beginning, so the biggest impact is the money that the project moved. So the total budget of the project was almost 20 million, and the project moved around a total of 14 million. So in private investment, other sources investment, public resources. So and consider that the tourism is the core partner. At energy impact, we discovered that in Ireland, for example, we have nice examples in Crete with biofuels, and in Cyprus. It's important to use place-based economies, no? And resources that are installed in the island. For example, in this case, using food oils to make diesel or biofuels. Here at the environmental impact, one more important thing is that in sustainable mobility, we are working for a medium long run horizon, no? So it's essential to have a clear framework to make a continuous path, no? Not to end after an administration, after each 4 years, to restart the job from the beginning. So the importance of to have a sustainable mobility plan. The combination, for example, was quite clear results, no? Tourists want soft transport modes. So you will see after in the presentation of Madeira, there is a great part. So there are a lot of people who want to hire a car, but most of tourists want to explore the cities by foot, no? By foot, with the shared solution, with bicycles. So we have to bet more and more on walkability and to limit the assets, the historical assets to cars, no? Social impact. It's quite clear that we need, especially us in Ireland, we have to look at the cost of the measure we implement and involve people in sustainable mobility measures carefully. Last, some future challenges. So here, as I told you, the first point is clear. So we all need a long-run plan to guide our sustainable mobility and tourism strategy together. There is quite a big knowledge gap in this field, which is why people choose and how tourists can choose a sustainable mobility option instead or of car. We need to study better these aspects, and it's something we have to deepen more and more. We need as islands to be strong together. So the platform of followers, the Island networks are essential to share experience and not to waste the resources in always different projects that maybe has no returns. And the last point, but I already explained, so money invested in sustainable mobility measures has a great return in private and public extra funds, and we achieve these 14 millions extra resources. Now I make a very short presentation about Madeira.
Very short because we have very few minutes left. Yeah.
I will be very fast, Andrea. So here, some aspect of Madeira, as you can see, but I will pass briefly. So Madeira, we are in the middle of the ocean. We are near Azores and Canary Islands, between them. So we have almost 260 people living here, and the tourism is the prevailing industry with 30% of GDP devoted to tourism, okay? So here a nice graph that show that you can see on the right hand. So people here, you can see the touristic mobility share in Madeira. So you can see that there are a lot of people, 39 people that rent a car, but 29% of people go by foot and use public transport. Very few, 6% use public transport, but there is a growing share of people that tourists that want to move with sustainable options at destination. So here with an image, the measure we implemented in Madeira at the logistic level, new technology, partnership with schools, innovative plans, ticketing system, electric mobility. We can write 3 books about this. Closing here, a success case in Madeira regarding the public transport system and the integration we achieved. A nice aspect was the attention to tourists. No? In a touristic island, we pay attention in the tender and in the planning, strategic planning, the information for tourists, to grant the value chain of tourism integrated in transport system. So a nice attention that I think can be replied and upscale in many places and islands. So thank you very much. Here I put a link of another flagship project we have here in Madeira, which is the Smart Fossil-Free Island Porto Santo. So Madeira is an archipelago, and there is a small island. And together with Renault, we made a nice test of electric grids, electric mobility, and smart mobility. If you want to look this video, I think it's nice also experience. It's nice project to share with you. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Claudio and Isabel. And I believe that share of shared transportation will increase very soon, as well as food. So very good. Thank you very much. And now we pass the last video, the last winner. The winner of GTI Award 2018 for water, Chambe Island Coral Park, a pioneer eco-lodge introducing environmentally friendly technology for water and sanitation in Tanzania.
Chambe Island, an Eden off the coast of Zanzibar's mainland, is the setting for the first global ecosphere retreat certified by the Jochen Zeitz Foundation. This means that Chambe strives for excellence in sustainability through the balance of conservation and commerce, whilst fostering community development and cultural stewardship. Luminous aquamarine waters with crystalline clarity lap upon the dazzling white shores which barely peak above the Indian Ocean. Beneath the surface lies an ancient limestone reef teeming with life. Back on land is Chambe's Lodge, with 7 eco-bungalows, a visitors centre and staff quarters. All these are constructed according to state-of-the-art eco-architecture, including rainwater catchment, vegetative grey water filtration, composting toilets, solar water heating, and photovoltaic power generation. These plush bungalows are surrounded by a seemingly impenetrable wall of rainforest, which protects the creatures within. As the sun goes down, it begins to cast its parting rays of pink, crimson, and scarlet across thousands of miles of champagne ocean. As the shadows descend, the forest comes to life. The walkways and beaches are not artificially illuminated, a measure taken to protect the feeding and breeding patterns of nocturnal animals. This island is a small but significant cosmos of the African reef ecosystem, and every effort is taken to preserve its splendor. It is for this fact that Chambe is the proud winner of the 2019 Best of Africa Award, recognizing it for the management, leadership, and innovation in responsible and sustainable tourism. Chambe Island, a true jewel of the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. Another great example of sustainable island, very sustainable, with, as you see in the rainwater system, using only composting toilets, the reuse of wastewater and the energy from the sun, as well a very very great protection of the environment on land and under the sea. So I'm very pleased to welcome Ms. Sibyl Ried-Miller, the director of Chambe Island Coral Park. Welcome, Sibyl.
Yeah, thank you, Angelo, and thank you to everybody. May I share my screen, please? Can you see it? Wait, it's coming. Right, let me get it. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, first of all, thank you for GTI to help us with promotion, because As many islands, we depend on tourism, which has crashed last year for the reasons we know. And I mean, we need all sort of marketing we can get now to recover for the post-pandemic time. Now, Chumba Island is actually already 30 years old as an initiative, and it was a 100% sustainable ecotourism private park funded by tourism. Actually, the first marine park in Tanzania and the first private managed marine park in the world. And it funded itself for 20 years. Now we are a little bit back to square one in terms of tourism, but the other technologies are fully operative. Of course, the core of our project is protecting this coral reef around Chumba Island, protecting the forest, which everything is virgin. Just preserve it for future generations and for humanity, because it's so rich in biodiversity, you can't believe it, as you have seen in the movie. Now, how can you protect a reef and the forest, the whole island, 100% without allowing the damage done by tourism? We went to the Altiman, you can go for low carbon eco lodge with state-of-the-art eco technology, rainwater catchment, as you have seen. We are, yeah, let me minimize our, yeah, this is, of course, the low carbon eco lodge we built to support the reef. I go a little bit back to show the reef and the forest. I mean, these pictures you have seen already in the movie.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I go a little bit into the design because, of course, the movie was just more or less promotional, but I want to give you some little bit technical background. The design is actually every bungalow is totally self-sufficient for water and energy provision. So we have no grid on the island and the island has no water. So rainwater is the source for shower and cooking. And every bungalow has a cistern and is built. Every roof is built to collect rainwater. Every roof on Chumba Island collects rainwater. And you can see it here. And there's, of course, solar panels on the top of the roofs. And then you see solar water heating also. So all energy comes from the sun, everything on the island. This is the inside of the roofs. Large roofs, which we need to collect a lot of rainwater because there are rainy seasons. With about 1,600 millimeter per year. So we have to collect for the whole year, also for the dry season. Now we have the great advantage over places like Sint Maarten and other Caribbean islands that we don't have hurricanes. Of course, you couldn't build roofs like this if you have hurricanes, obviously. So we are very lucky in our part of the world because we're very close to the equator. Now, this building with palm thatch, yeah, and very large roofs is actually tradition. In the villages, people make this palm thatch from coconut palm, which is a very common crop, and it's a very local technology. So we can really employ local people to do it, and it's very easy also for them to copy this. They're all know how to build with palm thatch, but to collect rainwater with palm thatch is very unusual. We are the only and first ones to do that. And the belief was, if you collect rainwater from palm thatch, it becomes brown water, as you see here. But we have developed like a filter of gravel and sand to filter the water before it goes into the cistern, which means it's clean later on. Now we collect rainwater. Of course, solar water heating, we also use very simple technology. You see these solar water heaters. It's basically hose pipes put into a spiral, or you can just use water pipes to make the solar water heaters. They're very low cost, can easily be copied by local people. And of course, also low cost and simple technology for us and cost efficient. Of course, water saving is the key. You see at the right-hand side, the shower head. It's a very simple shower head, which controls the flow of water. You have to press the button on the top of the shower head for the water to flow. So if you put soap on yourself, it's only for rinsing, then you get the water. This is, of course, needed to minimize on water usage, but it's enough. Whenever you want to shower after snorkeling or so, you can use that, of course. Toilets, flush toilets are not only wasting a huge amount of water every time, but they're also sending sewage into the coral reef, which is, of course, mortal. Sewage from tourism is one of the main reasons for coral reefs dying off along the coast. Probably that's the second reason after probably climate change. So these composting toilets, which need to be managed, instead of water, you put compost there. And this is really a great system because it's digesting very quickly and you don't have smell, it's basically producing compost you can reuse for the same purpose. So the toilets look the same like any other, but there's no water. Now for the gray water, which is the kitchen water, which is rich in nutrients and fat, you have to also process it totally so it doesn't go into the reef, which is very close to the beach. So in this case, we have built artificial wetlands. You see on the right-hand side, on the bottom, you see the structure which was built, and it's planted with reeds. On the left-hand side, with our technical manager Ali Bashiru, the reeds are growing and they absorb all nutrients. So what comes out of this is totally clean water. There's no nutrients anymore. Everything is absorbed by these plants. Of course, the whole island is photovoltaic for all electricity, which is of course minimized. Lights, and people can of course charge their mobile phones and their cameras. And we also run the kitchen, the fridge on that. So we need quite a number of panels, but that's the source of energy, of electricity on the island. We are nearly 100% carbon free. Now to spread the technology and also the idea of conservation of the coral reef and the forest, we have very comprehensive education programs for government officials. That's how we started 30 years ago. And then workshops for fishermen, how you have to fish without destroying the coral reef, and bringing kids to the island, students and teachers, having teacher training for this coral reef ecology, teaching modules, school excursions. We had more than 10,000 students, teachers, community members coming to the island, which is a great experience, especially for girls. Zanzibar is actually a Muslim island, so girls have to wear quite some clothing, and even if they go into the water, they can't just undress like Western kids. So we have to prepare for that. They don't know how to swim. Normally people in Zanzibar don't know how to swim. So we provide buoyancy vests and show them how to snorkel, and then take them into the water. And of course, all this is funded by tourism, which means it needs not to be only functional, but also beautiful. So of course, we integrated a lot of local arts into our design. It's totally local. Both the materials, local materials, and the art is local, and employing local people. So that's the inside interior of one of the bungalows, the bottom floor. The top is a bedroom. That's the education center, the sitting area. Well, welcome to Chumba Island. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sibyl. Great example again of sustainable tourism and correct use of water. There is not so much time for questions, so we'll only leave time for one question from Andrei Marcas from OCTA, a member of the jury. The question is, there is any drinkable water, or do you import it? And how do you manage storing energy from the solar panels?
Right. Drinking water we bring from Zanzibar mainland. These big 20-liter canisters, we bring them, but no plastic on the island. So we fill them in reusable, we use wine bottles. We recycle them to use them as water bottles. That's for the water. So the drinking water we bring from the Zanzibar Island. However, we believe that even cistern water you can drink. We do biolab analysis regularly to see whether there's anything which has entered the water, but the filter is working very well. So as long as you keep the stored rainwater totally off light, no light, yeah, no algae will form and no animals will get into it if you keep it very closed. But for safety, because tourists very often come from overseas and they have more sensitive stomachs than our local people, and we ourselves and our staff, we drink that water. But for our guests, we bring drinking water from Zanzibar. Electricity we manage, we have regulators, we measure our usage, but we are never short of sun. So we don't have lack of energy in terms of photovoltaics. Of course, sometimes some regulators are not working properly and the batteries are getting then discharged and things like that. So it's quite intensive in maintenance, but once it's being monitored, it works. The only source of energy which is not sustainable is cooking, because we don't have enough electricity for cooking. For that, we use cooking gas, LPG, which comes in big bottles, but we are studying ways on how also to replace that. And of course, last but not least, tourism has a climate impact because it is long haul. In this case of Zanzibar, as you know, is in Eastern Africa, off Tanzania, and 90% of our guests come from the global north. They come from the States, from Europe, from South Africa. We don't have a solution for that, I have to say. This is a dilemma. Conservation in Africa depends on tourism. But tourism to come and pay for it, which is not a budget, it can't be budget, it's a mid to up market, needs to travel long haul, and that travel cannot be replaced. We can't ask people to come to us per ship. This will take like a month to come to us. Yeah, flights are indispensable. So we need to find a way how long haul travel and mobility can also be made more climate friendly. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Sibyl. And yes, we also discussed internally in GTI, the GTI Observatory, about solutions for the transportation, the mobility. So all these issues are have been discussed and will be discussed over the next months and years to find the right solutions for all the islands. So thank you all the panelists, and I leave the floor to my colleagues. I look forward to see all the projects that will apply for the GTI Awards. Thanks everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yes, I think, thank you, Angelo. I think it's the time to present the regulation anyway of the awards for the new applications award 2021. And I would like to inform that at the end of the webinar, we'll do a group photo so we can utilize for our communication. So Francesco, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gianni. Thank you, Gianni. Hello, everyone. Thank you for reporting the progress of these impressive projects. Since we're running a bit late, I'll try to be brief. I would just need Miss Redmiller to end.
Yeah, I just try to find out where I can do that. Sorry.
No problem. What I can start in the meantime is we're launching the new edition.
Can't you just take off my screen? If you see my screen, I don't see how. I don't. Can't you just take off my screen?
Francesco, I think you can now.
Let me try.
You can jump in.
Okay, yes, I can. Thank you. So I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we're launching the new edition, the 7th edition of the GTI Awards, and we have quite some news. So let's dive right into it. I will just review again briefly the main features of the competition. I would like to say first that in order to register for the competition, the registration form will be online on the GTI website starting from Monday, the 17th, after this very weekend. Applicants would need to attach at least 3 project photos with captions. It's really important that they have captions describing what we're looking at, and the higher the quality, of course, the better. And also they will need to attach a CO2 savings documentation to document the achievements. And the deadline for this edition is going to be October 1st, 2021, in order for our jury to review all the applications. Hopefully there will be a lot, so they will need quite some time. And in order to have the results and the winners in time for the e-convention. All island governments of the world can apply and are welcome to do so, and they can do in association with other public bodies or private companies which have been involved in the project. In order to participate, islands would need to be part of the GTI Observatory, and they can do so also registering for free as entry island member. And so they can become part of a global network of islands committed to sustainability. It is recommended that When they apply, candidates focus on main project objectives, which are a project description of activities and of specific interventions already in place or foreseen, the public outreach of the project, as well as education and awareness efforts and results, the economic value added and how they have come up with the calculation, very important, as well as the outcomes from an ecological and social point of view of the project. Coming to the categories, we have the usual one, the 6.1, renewable energy and energy efficiency, sustainable mobility, water, waste, agriculture, and sustainable tourism. And then as the first news of the first novelty of this edition, we have added a new category, governance and inclusion, to try to really capture the socioeconomic and livelihood effects of policies also other than projects. So this is going to be interesting. And every project or policy is going to be evaluated based on both quantitative and qualitative criteria. All of this is specified in the regulation. I would just jump this for now to go faster. And the jury will evaluate the project based on multiple aspects. First, the level of environmental awareness around the project, the degree of innovation in the whole region of reference, the socioeconomic benefits that the project will bring to the entire area, the potential for replicability and development of future projects, and they will use a multidisciplinary and multisectoral approach. Now the interesting stuff for the applicants, the prizes. This again is we have some novelty for this edition. First of all, the winners, all 7 winners, will be rewarded with the 1-year free of charge GTI Observatory Intermediate membership, which will include the GTI Global Index in order to be able to get a score on the island status, and maybe even more importantly, recommendation how to improve them and be grouped with islands with similar needs. The winners, just like last year, will be presented, and they will present the project during the awards ceremony at the closing of this year's e-convention. This will include communication to international press, so pretty nice visibility for the islands and for the project partners. And of course, the award prize, Green the Islands Awards, and extensive visibility in our network, permission to use the awards logo. This is really beautiful, by the way. Let me show you again, because our team made a really nice logo. It's this one on the left. And this is quite a big announcement. They will be rewarded the fast track for the Green Destinations Top 100 Destination Sustainability Stories competition. We're quite excited about that. And for this, I would leave the floor to Gianni.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Francesco. And we can jump to the next slides, which is the news of this year. Because the sustainability is a great value for the islands, not only for reducing pollution, of course, better quality of people, but also in helping the economy. One of the main economy of islands is tourism. And we strongly believe that link the circular economy, sustainability with tourism is really key. And that's why we see a lot of complementarities with the organization Green Destination. And I'm glad to announce that we have just signed an agreement in order to, of course, create a fast track for all the winners to the Green Destination Top 100 Destination Sustainability Stories competition. And of course, there will be benefits for all participants. Green Destination will present better the top 100 destination sustainability stories. after my introduction of this agreement. Of course, Green Destination will join the observatory, and our sustainable tourism working group in order to really help the islands joining, bring the certification as a green destination. And I'd like also to announce, even if is an early stage announcement, the Green Islands top 10 sustainable tourism island destination in cooperation with Green Destination. We will launch this program at the convention of 2021 this year on the 19, 20, and 21 October. And the results, of course, will be presented, the first result at the e-convention of the 2022. Last but not least, the Green Destination Organization Foundation has invited Green Island to join the international jury for the Green Destination Awards, especially for the islands and seaside category. Patrizia, I don't know if you are here from Green Destination.
Yes, Yanni, I am.
So please, Patricia Marul from Green Destination, please, the floor is yours. And I'm so happy to start this journey together to support the islands to be also Green Destination.
Thank you, Yanni, for the opportunity. And similar as you are, Green Destinations, we are very excited to start this journey with you and with your team and all your destinations as well. Just to give you a little bit of background about us, Green Destinations is a non-profit organization for sustainable destination development and recognition, and we're based in the Netherlands. Together with our partners now, Greening the Islands as well, we support hundreds of destinations in more than 60 countries to deliver responsible tourism based upon global recognized principles and the sustainable development goals. For that, we have created our own Green Destination Standard, which is currently recognized by the GSTC for the second time this year. The first edition of our Top 100 competition was in 2014, and since then we have more than 400 destinations joining the program. And the objective, as yours, is to support these destinations by promoting the good practice stories and help them to achieve that global visibility and recognition for their efforts. The benefits of our competition is destinations get the opportunity to get a sustainability assessment, a rapid check based on our core criteria. Also, they get guidance on creating a good practice story, how to share this with the public. All this is put together in a small training course that we have developed only this year for the first time, and in our online training platform, where we tell destinations how to comply with our criteria. We also have workshops about storytelling and different activities, so destination managers can develop these stories and share them with the world. Also, the winners of the Top 100 list are invited to join the Good Travel Guide website, which is an initiative from Green Destinations as well. It's a platform dedicated to promote only sustainable destinations and businesses within these destinations. As well, Top 100 destinations are nominees to the Green Destinations Story Awards, which is normally celebrated at the ITB Berlin. And we're now, Greening the Island is going to be part of the jury for this year now, again, competition. Also, we host every year a Global Green Destinations Day conference, 5 days conference hosted in October, and Top 100 Best Stories are part of this event. And finally, of course, we try to promote our destinations in all our social media channels in by Green Destinations and the Good Travel Guide. Yanni, that's us in a nutshell.
Thank you very much, Patricia. I think in the progress, a lot of communication will continue about our cooperation during this year, and we are very glad to be the island partner of green destination. And yes, thank you very much, and stay with us because maybe some questions can be done, and for the group photo at the end of the webinar. So as time is running, I'd like to introduce, anyway, jump to the last slide, Francesco. So I'd like to introduce the jury. And
sorry about that, I shouldn't have closed. Okay.
Yes, the last slide. So I jump to the jury. I'd like to announce that confirmed the jury members are the one you see in the picture: Amani Alfara, Land and Water Officer of FAO, Sainaboti, Chief Seeds Unit of United Nations UNDESA, Eddie Paris from the OCTA organization that represent all the governments of overseas islands, overseas countries, specifically on the islands. George Kremlis, which is honorary director of the European Commission of the DG Environment of the European Commission, but also right hand of the Prime Minister of Greece. And anyway, is really a founder of a very great initiative of on circular economy. Is here with us. And thank you, George, for being with us. Giovanni Ruggeri, the president of the Observatory of Tourism for Island Economies, OTIE. Michela, thank you, Ruggero, for being with us here. Michela Miletto, coordinator of WAP UNESCO, which is the division water of UNESCO, that has been one of the first jury member of the Green Islands Awards. And thank you, Miletta, for being with us. And Joseph Borg, president of INSULEUR, which is the association of the Chamber of Commerce of the European Islands. And with us, we have Daniel Borg, which is only for this panel taking place of Joseph Borg, and Manuel Butler, executive director of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. John Portelli is a new entry, very important for us. Is a full professor for the Department of Humanities, Social Sciences and Social Justice Education from the University of Toronto. And anyway, a lot of anyway, also a lot of position in many organizations as John Portelli represents for us a strength of the jury on the topic, especially on governance inclusion, which is the new awards. And Amiad Abdullah, head of partnership at IRENA. Edita Dasenkla, policy, sorry, I didn't pronounce properly the surname, but policy officer of DG Energy from the European Commission, and Kate Brown, executive director of the Global Island Partnership. Here with us, we have a very important representation, because of course it was very difficult to have such a big panel, and we have a very important representation of the jury. So we can take out the slide, and I'd like to see the representation of jury. Michela Miletto, as we said, from WAP UNESCO, and of course Mr. Ruggeri from OCTA, George Kremlis, as we said, from the DG Energy, DG Environment, sorry, European Commission, and also the representative of the INSULEUR and also OCTA. I'd like to ask Michela and all of you around table. I'd like to ask a comment on the project you have seen. You have, first of all, you have dedicated time to review a lot of projects in the past years. And now you see from the voice of the islands and how important it is for them to disseminate what they are doing, no? And how important is the dissemination and the value of the awards. I'd like to start with Michela, which is one of the first jury members since 2015. Sorry, Michela. the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gianni, and good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Yeah, if you say so, it looks like I'm very old, because at least 10 years that we have been together in this great experience. Yeah, I think that I really admired today the work that has been done in this project. I really was fascinated by the quality, the innovative ideas that these projects are bringing to us. And the good part is that it's not bringing to us this wealth of information and ideas is not only for us, for our group, but it is for everybody, because you know, these are best practices, what we call them the best practices, and best practices is the way to do something better, and to minimize the mistakes, and to you know, to try to have a similar experience, so to apply the experience of others in your own practice, and try to do the same or even better. So this is the first things that I could see. That is, you know, it's learning from these best practices is maybe easier for the others, so that they can have these ideas, and also I think they promote cooperation, they promote partnerships, because we have seen you know, how they work with stakeholders, how they work with other organizations, or you know, new partnership, and also I believe a new friendship, which is important as human beings. So so yes. Another thing that I noticed here, but we expected, and we screened the project in this with these criteria, was the approach that is never univocal. It is always, and this is probably because of the situation, it is always trying to target different aspects, and to see how this aspect interconnect one with the other. It is probably the only solution, because islands are fragile environments, and they have many challenges. And one of the challenges that we all know is, you know, climatic variability, or you know, the effects of climate change. It's the environmental fragility, so the biodiversity that is fragile, more fragile than in an inland situation, and water scarcity. So we also deal with water scarcity. And there was the last example, the Eco Lodge, that was a brilliant example of how to, you know, to be completely autonomous in terms of energy, in terms of water, and to be also to create appetite also for a certain type of tourism that should be encouraged more and more. So that's make me think that the connecting the dots and connecting not only the disciplines, because in many projects you have new methodologies or innovative technologies that also use different disciplines and put them together. but also this becomes a multi-sectorial approach, because once you have this kind of project, you also have the participation of different stakeholders, of different sectors. And eventually, since we have now a new criteria for the future, that is governance and inclusions, you also have to think how to put around the table to talk about you know, the project or the planning for the island, or how to have to increase the sustainability of the island. You cannot, if you do something on water, you cannot talk only with water specialists. You have to talk with energy specialists, with tourism, with transportation, with agriculture, with many other stakeholders.
Thank you very much. Michela, thank you very much. Right, we will come back on the governance and the inclusion. It was you were one of the promoters in the jury of this session. And on the point of the interconnection between sectors, well, we have George Kremlis, which has been one of the father of circular economy in Europe and the world. George, anyway, thank you very much for being with us. Anyway, so a few words from your side, and we come back again on the point of governance, or from your side on the importance of dissemination of circular economy for the islands, can be a model for the mainland as well. George, the floor is yours.
Gianni, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this important panel. I'm always very happy to be very active in the awards of greening the islands, and in this launch event which starts with new ideas, including the government's one, the green destinations, interesting and exciting ideas that we need to support, especially in this period of pandemic, where we need to make sure that climate protection, environmental protection, public health are there in a chain of healthy and safe links, with the view to ensuring COVID-free islands, COVID-resilient islands, since, as you have pointed out, tourism is the main activity on those islands, and we need to ensure that not only they are climate neutral, or they can become climate neutral in this energy transition period, but they will be also COVID-free and COVID resilient, and of course they will ensure equality of life for their citizens, their inhabitants, but also for the tourists that will be visiting them. Now, the best practices that have been presented from the awarded projects of the past are extremely important. They are part of a puzzle of best practices which come under the umbrella of circular economy that have been awarded, and which need to be monitored and promoted, as what is the best practice for one island can become a best practice for the other island in the future, and sharing those best practices and disseminating, let's say, the new ideas and the good practices is extremely important, with the view to promoting the network, the work of the network, and what can be done at island level in this period of the Green Deal and of carbon neutrality, which becomes now not only a priority for the European Union, but a worldwide priority. And I was very happy to hear the views of John Kerry and of the new administration of the United States, which have a very high level of ambition for COP26, which will take place from the 1st to the 12th November in Glasgow, and where we hope that the islands dimension will also be highlighted. Let me say a few words about the Greek initiative. This is an initiative at UN level on the protection of the cultural heritage and of the monuments of the nature, which has been presented to the UN, accepted by Secretary General Guterres, and for which a flexible mechanism has been established with Greece, UNESCO, and WMO. This initiative covers not only the mapping of the cultural heritage, and by cultural heritage, we refer not only to the monuments, all types of monuments, not only archaeological, but also more recent monuments, but it refers also to the cultural heritage represented by the islands as such. And the second pillar is the natural heritage, the monuments of the nature as we call them. And all the islands in reality have either UNESCO sites or other sites that can be mapped, digitalized, and presented through this network. So our idea is to promote insularity, as insularity is part of our cultural heritage, especially small islands in the Pacific and in the Indian Ocean, which are threatened because of the sea level rise, because of climate change. And we would like also this initiative not only to be discussed within COP26 in a joint meeting of ministers of environment and ministers of culture, but also to have the islands dimension clearly reflected and highlighted there. So I wanted to share this with you. UNESCO, I'm happy UNESCO is part of our panel. Are following this together with us. We work hand in hand. And our idea is, of course, to protect not only the UNESCO monuments and the biospheres, the UNESCO cultural heritage and natural heritage sites, but also to extend it, as the UNESCO catalogs are not exhaustive, and there might be other islands, other sites, which for the islands concerned might be good enough to be reflected and protected in this initiative. So this is a complementary again initiative which comes to support the important work that Greening of the Islands is doing. And probably a last point on which we expect the participation of Greening of the Islands, and that we have already discussed with Gianni, the Institute of Circular Economy of the European Public Law Organization will organize in October this year, from the 18th to the 22nd, the Circle the Med conference, which will involve 57 countries, not only of the Mediterranean, but also of the Black Sea and the broader region. The idea there is to promote circular economy, blue economy, green growth, and digital economy under the umbrella of circular economy. And of course, their insularity is extremely important, as well as the coastal areas. We would be very happy to have you participating, and we will have dedicated panels on the islands, which will represent the good practice. And the good practice, as I often say, is not only good practice that we are developing within the European Union, but also good practice that has been developed thanks to Greening the Islands in other parts of the planet, as our planet and our environment has no borders, and we need to share all this good practice across the globe.
Indeed, thank you very much, George. And of course, we need also to disseminate and all these initiatives at the global level in order to find synergies and join forces. I'd like to come back on two very important points that has been stressed for the awards, and I think is very important for the project. On one side, we have the governance inclusion that has been mentioned more than once from Michela, from also Micheletto from UNESCO, from George Kremlis, and many jury members. But we have John Portelli with us, which is really a global expert, let me say, on governance inclusion, and is part of the jury. And we strongly believe, John, that yes, as we discussed, that you are also from an island, you are from Malta, and how important is we cannot talk about sustainability without talking about ethics, inclusions, governance, and all these aspects, social aspects. John, your view on this point.
Thank you very much, Gianni. First of all, I want to congratulate GTI for all the projects, including this award. And thank you, Gianni, for inviting me to be part of this jury panel. It is an honor for me, and I mean this sincerely. So, as Gianni said, I am originally from Malta, although I have been living in Canada for 43 years. At the moment, actually, I am in Malta because of COVID. I came a year ago for 3 months to do consulting, and I got caught here in a very positive way. I am very open about this. I'm still teaching with the University of Toronto in the Department of Social Justice. That is the area of my research. But at the age of 67, I prefer to be in Malta than in Toronto, with all due respect to Canada, that is. You know, maybe old age is making me go back to my roots. And of course, I will never forget my island upbringing. This is who I am. Yes, the point of governance and inclusion, I think, with all of these projects is very important. Not only important in itself, but it is also very important, so to speak, as a foundation for the intersectionality of all the other various aspects. Governance, for me, includes both a formal aspect, which is usually transferred to governments, elections, and policies, and so on, which I think is important. But governance also includes the informal way of living. And I think the several projects that won the awards from last year, and we heard several people talking about these projects, and it was really, really very positive to see young people, older people, and so on. This is part and parcel for me of the informal part of governance. So I see governance in those two parts. Of course, the issue of governance is a very, very old issue. It ultimately deals with how human beings ought to be relating with each other. We will never resolve this issue. There are a variety of views, but I think we would agree. And the EU is very clear and explicit and strong on this, that governance has to be based on ethical principles, and it has to be based on principles of social justice. In other words, we have to not only identify diversity, but we have to acknowledge it, we have to honor it, and we have to support it in its various forms. And this is why I think this new aspect of governance is important. The other 2 points I would like to mention very briefly. I'm very glad that my Greek colleague, George, mentioned the difference, I think, between good practice and best practice. I am very much in favor of using the term good practice because exactly contexts vary, and therefore to talk of universally best practice for me is not in itself very inclusive and in some sense not ethical and not socially just. And therefore we have to analyze the various contexts from island to island, which I think is what you are doing. The other point is there is a lot of talk when we come to good governance and ethics to the notion of common good. I don't want to disregard the notion of common good, but I think the literature of social justice and inclusion very clearly tells us that it isn't simply a matter of one common good. In fact, there are a variety of common goods. And the GTI's foci on a variety of aspects, I think, makes this point, that although we have a common aim to bring about ethically appropriate and socially just and inclusive practices and forms of governance and way of being, these different ways of being can take different forms, and therefore we need to allow for not just one common good, but a variety of common goods.
Thank you very much, John Portet. I'm sure you will bring, and I see also the expression of Michela, which is very keen on governance inclusion anyway, that there will be, I believe, during this year among jury members, a lot of conversation, discussion, and different views, and probably we'll meet in a beautiful island very soon, all of us. So
I'm very glad to be participating in this process and meeting all of my colleagues. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And maybe we'll come back to you. I'd like to give to listen the voice of from the islands economy, no, Daniel Borg. Anyway, because in the end, anyway, we are the island economy is really key. We want to really create a match between now we are talking about sustainable economy. Islands can be front runner in that sense, and I know that INSULEUR has a lot of program on sustainability, sustainable tourism, and also about ethics, and inclusion as well. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Gianni, for introducing me. As you said, I'm representing Joseph Borch, but I'm part of the technical committee of INSULEUR. So I was really impressed attending this webinar. I am aware of your work because we work very closely, and I really want to congratulate you for your really intensive work on sustainability. And these models that were shown today of the winners of the last edition clearly show that the economy and sustainability can really go together. They do not exclude each other. I can't mention, but the projects were incredible, especially the one from the ecologist was incredible, and also the others. So well done, even for the participants of INSULEUR, of the insular economies. As INSULEUR, we really focus on the aspect of sustainability in our messages, both to the European institutions in various fora and in all that we do. We have said, look, islands, our island economies, and even I can speak of my island of Gozo, which is part of the Maltese archipelago, we are too dependent on tourism, sometimes the wrong type of tourism. In that sense, we need to move away, we need to diversify the economy, or in some aspects, we need to make this tourism more sustainable. And the way the Green Awards are now structured, I think they can give good examples, because they are examples which can be replicated on islands. I even have this experience working with youths in an event we organize each year, where we emphasize with them the importance of putting forward sustainable ideas. So yes, this change can be done, and it can be done in small islands, as can be shown, as has been shown here. I also want to congratulate you also on your partnership with Green Destinations. In a previous, I had worked with Green Destinations in the past, also since I was responsible in the past for Gozo's application with Green Destinations, and I can vouch that really it has a 360 degrees of tourism. We cannot see economic sectors on their own. So this partnership, I think, can bring added and mutual benefit to all. Also, I think the importance that you have included governance and inclusion. In that sense, we cannot see the economy as it standalone. The economy impacts society. We have seen how COVID-19 has impacted severely island economies, which are over-dependent on or reliant on one's sectors. So it's very good to include this criteria. We need to have a 360-degree view of sustainability, in the sense that the economy cannot move if society doesn't move with it. If that happens, there will be a few who get rich, but the population would suffer. So I applaud you on this very good initiative, because it gives a comprehensive view of what sustainability should be about. So we as INSULEUR are very glad to be participating. I can say that on behalf of Joe, with whom I communicate constantly. We are INSULEUR are very glad to be part of this initiative, because we really believe, as I said, that sustainability and the economy can go together and they can assist each other to grow. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us how important it is to be sustainable. So that is the direction we need to move on. Thank you
very much. Thank you. Anyway, the economy of the islands is really the driver, because it's not true anymore that sustainability means don't make also business economy anyway opportunities. Anyway, now the economy is the sustainability is the driver of the new economy. And I'd like to listen last the voice from the islands governments, from the overseas, the European overseas islands, and we have with us, because of the time zone jet lag, we have the responsible of sustainability for OCTA. So I'd like your comment, Andrei Marcas. Please, from your side, maybe you can spend a few words about OCTA as well.
Yeah, of course. Thank you a lot, Jenny. I'm here on behalf of the Overseas Countries and Territories Association. We represent the European overseas. And indeed, because of differences in time zone, I am responsible for sustainability in our organization. And it is truly, well, first an honor to be part of this jury, and really heartening to see all these projects and all the work that is happening. We have been working quite heavily recently on blue economy and on pushing for a transition towards blue economy. It's something that our members, which are all over the planet, we like to say from the tropics to the Arctic regions, they're very keen on this, and seeing that this is happening all over the world and that there's truly a trend pushing in this direction is very heartening, especially since one of the projects that was awarded in the previous session was from Sint Maarten, which is one of our members. So I won't go on for too long, but of course, it's also important that for us, from a climate impact point of view, the small islands that we represent, especially in the Caribbean and the Pacific, are very heavily impacted by climate change without having without being one of the creators of these problems, since they are too small to pollute and create the problems. So using such initiatives and such exchanges of practices as we've seen is, I think, one of the best ways to continue into the future. And yeah, I really look forward to continuing our collaboration on this in the future. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you very much. We are out of time. So I'd like to conclude with one message, really very short, from the jury members on, of course, to the all participants and new participants, anyway, to, let's say, encourage, anyway, of course, participation, because it will be very important. As more project we have, as more we can, of course, disseminate, have content, etc. And coming back to Michela, anyway, our last sentence a message to the present participants, all participants and new participants from your side, Michela?
For the old participants, well, actually, I hope that they could continue to participate, to be our friends and be with us in this journey, so that this experience that they share with us is are always something that can be upgraded and updated, so that I would suggest that it would be very nice to have from time to time to touch base with them and to know how about your project, what is going on, what are the update, what is new. So this is what I would like to say to these participants. And for the next participants, I have to think about what I want to say when I hopefully see all of them and the project that will be submitted. So, but I really hope that there will be what we expect and what we encourage. So a really a multidimensional approach. This is what we would like to see.
Thank you very much, Michela. Very good, very important, I think, for the people present here, because it's recorded, so we'll go to the new ones. And George Kremlis, please, in a few seconds, a short message from your side.
Thank you, Gianni. We need to broaden and strengthen the islands network of greening the islands with the view to promoting the concept of circular islands, climate resilient and COVID resilient islands.
Thank you very much, George. Very effective. And John Portelli, please, a message you to the existing and future project, anyway, participants.
Well, I too encourage very strongly and dearly all participants to apply again, to continue this very good tradition that can create new possibilities. It is not simply a competition, but it is also building on each other and building on what has been done on the past, and the importance of the intersectionality, as many of my colleagues have spoken.
Thank you very much. Very effective, and the social aspect will be now even we pay a lot of attention to this part. And Daniel, message from your side. Daniel Borg from INSULEUR.
Hi. Now, for me, for the participants, past participants, I just want to encourage them to continue working on sustainability. I believe that's the way forward, especially for places which are very vulnerable to the effects of climate change and other aspects. To new participants, I encourage them to come forward to gain more visibility through this network, especially for small islands, which can chart the way also for the mainland to see how in reality we can proceed in the way towards further sustainability.
Thank you very much. And last, anyway, Andrei from OCTA.
Thank you. Yes, it's impressive for the old projects to see how they continue thriving years after they were awarded. And for the new ones, I truly think that such projects are the way forward for the future in blue economy and in sustainability.
Thank you very much. Michela, you raised the end for...
Yes, just one last thing. I just would like to congratulate for the gender equality that I can see here. I mean, the gender balance that I can see here, because I can see there is quite a number of women representing their project in the island, and I'm very happy. This was not always like that. I always complained, and now finally I found a group of splendid women together with us. Thank you very much.
Michela, thank you for raising the hand on such an important point. You,
always.
among them, a lot of a contribution. This was one of your achievements, anyway, in this group of people. And I'd like to conclude with yes, maybe a message from Green Destination as well, because we need to really encourage our islands to become really a green destination. And Patricia, in conclusion.
Well, thank you, Yanni, for the opportunity to join this amazing group. Happy to see some familiar faces as well, some destinations we have worked with in the past, and looking forward all the great things we can achieve together. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to take more time. I think it's been a very intense session, a lot of contents, and this is just a start. And so we have a lot to do before arriving to the end of the year, to the e-convention. And I hope there will be a lot of projects. I would like to ask all the present to encourage others to participate. I like to thanks a lot to all the staff from Gabriel, Francesco, Angelo, and all the staff that of Green Island that support us in all these paths, and looking forward to see you again. Thank you. Thank you a lot.